Welcome one, welcome all to yet another installment of Before Our Time. We are here. This is WrestleMania 4. We have time traveled all the way back to 1988, March the 27th. But let's not get too far into that. Let's go through your host for this evening. The dazzling and dashing Nick Storm, the Australian icon, but I'm also joined by...
the Hollywood idol himself, young Anthony. Look, Nick, I don't know if I'm happy to be here to talk about the worst WrestleMania of all time.
I'm
or
definitely here. That's all I can say.
The next hour and a half of my life. But nevertheless, Nick, I have a little surprise actually for today's episode because, we're in the spirit of, Trump Plaza, WrestleMania 4, and we have a big night ahead for the Macho Man himself. So I figured, let's drop these shades real quick and maybe we'll go for something a little more appropriate, a little something. Oh, yeah, got the glasses on. Little something different for the Macho Man. Yeah, these don't really work because I have glasses underneath, so I'm going to look stupid throughout this episode. But nonetheless, I got these glasses it's not just for the occasion. I was Macho Man for Halloween last year, so I had to throw the shades on. Nick, How the hell are you doing?
I'm good. I don't know about you or you guys watching, but I need to see a photo of that Macho Man cosplay, if you will. You're a cosplayer now, and I've assigned you to that. But
oh yeah,
dude, we both did some tomfoolery with the sunglasses. I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling good. This show was hard to get through, to say the least, for me at least. And then I know we went back and forth on text messages, and we kind of shared the same experience going into this Mania. This was something.
It was surely a WrestleMania, to say the least.
It was a WrestleMania, yeah, that's for sure.
Well, look, let's not waste any more time. Do you want to get right into this WrestleMania, unfortunately?
Oh, of course I do, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, there's only one way to start talking about WrestleMania, and that is even before we talk about WrestleMania. So let's get on the road to WrestleMania. Oh, yeah, the road to WrestleMania. My Macho Man is never going to get better, folks. You're going to have to deal with it. But something else that many people had to deal with, for better or for worse, at this WrestleMania, Nick, I think we're seeing double because, holy shit, we've got ourselves a rematch. The rematch of all rematches, if you will. No, you're not watching last week's stupendous episode of Before Our Time, which you can find only on the Turnbuckle Tavern's YouTube page of when we went over 1987's WrestleMania 3. No. You are watching this year's 1988 WrestleMania 4, which also just so happened to feature Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Now let's talk about this. We had a rematch here from WrestleMania, and we saw it last week. There was a whole big story leading up to this Mania, and there was even more story leading up to this WrestleMania between, the immovable object and the irresistible force. And things were getting a little interesting this time around because we have some new characters to involve. The $1 Million Man gets involved here, but there's only so much that I could say about the match. I think we send it over to our first segment on the night. It is time to learn about the history of Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant to WrestleMania 4 by way of Alfred Vision.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Look at the look on Andre's face. He's turning the whole track. Look at this. I can't believe it. I will present you that belt. And pronounce you the World WWE Champion. Suplex running on top of him. He's on him. Look at two. Watch it. He got him. He got him. No, he didn't. The referee called him free.
Beautiful. Our first Alfred Vision of the night. You got to love Alfred Vision. Just a quick dive into the story of Hogan and Andre going into Mania 4. So Ted DiBiase, as we saw in the Alfred Vision, gets involved in the story. He is a character that we haven't seen. I don't believe we've seen Deviously in the $1 Million Man so far in any of these WrestleManias. So he, of course, offers Hulk Hogan a large amount of money for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Hogan, being the American hero that he is, rejects that amount of money because the world title is priceless, brother. However, there's someone who doesn't really care about the prestige and history of the world title, and that's Andre the Giant himself, which leads us to a match between Hogan and Andre at an event called the Main Event. It was on NBC. To my understanding, this is the most watched television broadcast of professional wrestling in history. I could be wrong.
Oh, wow.
Someone's got to correct me on that. Someone in the chat, let me know the number. But Hogan and Andre for the World Heavyweight Championship. And basically, if Andre won this championship, he agreed to sell the championship to the $1 Million Man. And what happens? Well, we saw it in the video. A fluke win. Something happened with the referee. I believe there was 2 identical referees, and Hogan's shoulder was up, but the referee still counted 3. Andre the Giant was your World Heavyweight Champion, and he would then go on to sell the championship to Ted DiBiase, which leads us to a rematch from last year's WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, a lot of bad blood here. And they would be involved in an interesting concept for this Mania, which we'll get into in just a little bit. Talk to me about, we saw Mania 3 last week. We saw Hogan and Andre. Talk to me about what you were thinking, seeing that this rematch was going to happen. Another question I want to throw out there. What is your opinion on rematches happening at big events? Like, for our example, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. We've seen that match so many times at WrestleMania that it's almost become second nature to younglings like us. What does it take to get interested in rematches at WrestleMania? Do the names sell it themselves? Does the story have to be spot on? What's your take on all that?
So, yeah, we kind of went through this a little bit a couple episodes ago when we were talking about like long-term storytelling, and I think this is just like another case of that. Going into this, I went completely blind into this, and I had no idea until I was watching the Mania that these two would face off again. And I thought it was pretty great, I mean, they main evented the last Mania, and I was like, oh, well, goddamn. Well, now the promos just have to get me really invested into the match, and I think that's what they did as well. But we can get more into that in a little bit. But rematches at big events, when they have a crucial story to them, and it's not just Brock Roman, you know what I mean? I think that's where I get invested. At least that's where I put my time and I invested in stuff like that. But what about you? What do you think of the whole rematch?
I mean, rematches. I always think whenever there's a rematch of, let's say, a really good match, for instance, I guess we'll go on the whole Roman and Brock thing, right? When I see a match like Roman and Brock, I was at WrestleMania. When I see a match like that it kind of disappointed, you can only go up from that. That's why whenever there's a rematch, there has to be some type of stipulation involved, right? That's why SummerSlam, we just saw it this past Saturday. It worked so well because it was nothing like we had seen, not just with the whole Reigns and Lesnar situation, but just in wrestling, period. I mean, fucking, who's going to bring a tractor down to the ring and tip the ring over? But that's for another conversation for another time. But when it comes down to the rematches, I've always just been of the belief that there needs to be a stipulation to it. If it's not a match that's going to, blow the roof off the place just because of the 2 names involved and they're going to have a 5-star classic, there needs to be some stakes added to it. Hence, Hell in a Cell. You have a 3-match series. The last match needs to be in Hell in a Cell, whatever it may be. But sometimes it works. Sometimes the names just, it just sells it for itself. Like Bianca and Becky. I go back to SummerSlam. They had a great match at WrestleMania. They didn't add a stipulation at the SummerSlam match, but you knew that the match was going to be fantastic regardless. So it's no need. So this time around, at the main event show, if you will, there was a stipulation, Andre could sell the title to, $1 Million Man. And this time around at WrestleMania 4, there is another stipulation added, which is going to get into our next topic. And that's the fact that Hogan and Andre is actually happening in a much grander tournament. And it's a good old-fashioned tournament here. So Andre sells the title to $1 Million Man, but WWF President Jack Tunney was having none of it. He was having absolutely none of it. Basically, Jack Tunney strips $1 Million Man, Andre the Giant, whoever was holding the title, of the championship, vacates it, and announces that there will be a tournament held at WrestleMania 4 in Atlantic City at Trump Plaza, and all the top names in the WWF will be involved. And we actually have the bracket right here for your viewing pleasure. As you see in the top left, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, they were not involved in the first round. They both got a bye to the, what would that be, the quarterfinals. So they would be going up against each other in the match there. But you have names like Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage, Jim Duggan, Ted DiBiase, all of these names that we have seen before or haven't seen yet. I got to tell you, we spoke a little bit about this, in text and stuff. But for me personally, I was very much looking forward to the fact that we were going to get a tournament. For me, like, when it comes to full show tournaments, they have to be done right. Like, it can't just be continuous pinfall, submission, rinse and repeat. Like, there needs to be story involved. There needs to be the cheap wins. There needs to be the fast finishes. Like, there's got to be some more to it to really sell me that there's a story. And, when we get to it, there is definitely a story to this tournament, albeit it's not really a great one. But nevertheless, there is definitely some, oomph to it. So, I mean, what was your take on this as I actually go ahead and take my Macho Man glasses off, because I think it's time to put the regular shape back on that one.
Dude, it was a struggle for me to watch. I was like, oh, please stay on.
My glasses were just shaking as I said every syllable. But what's your take on, were you excited for a full tournament WrestleMania? Give me your take on this.
Well, the first time I heard of that this Mania is going to be a tournament, it was actually last week on our last episode of Before Our Time. Anthony, you mentioned the next Mania, WrestleMania 4, is a whole tournament. I was like, oh, I might just jump off a bridge now and save myself watching a whole 3-hour tournament. But going into it, I was like, okay, well, we can expect to see a lot of different outcomes, DQ finishes, roll-ups, spontaneous finishes, stuff like that. We definitely get that in this tournament. So at least they spice it up. We'll probably get more into this when we get into the actual card, but most of these matches had a 15-minute time limit, which was good for me. Kept it like nice and fresh and clean, and it had a nice pace to it, and it changed scenery often, at each 15 minutes, which was nice because I get bored very easily. So the fact that yeah, I'm glad with that at least.
Yeah, no, I mean, you definitely needed some something to spice it up, and to their credit, they tried to spice it up. Speaking of spicing things up, this will be our last topic before we get into the Mania itself. There's not a lot of story or real road to WrestleMania before we get to the show, so this will be our last topic. Speaking of spicing things up, you're going to see in this show especially that a lot of characters are quote-unquote spiced up. New gimmicks, new face heel turns. I mean, fuck, the guy who wins the tournament is definitely a change of character than we've seen the last two Manias. But there's another name that may be a bit shocking to bring up so early on here. And that's this guy, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. So Brutus Beefcake was actually involved in a few pretty good matches that we've seen so far at Mania. Of course, the David Sammartino match at the first Mania, the Dream Team versus the British Bulldogs at WrestleMania 2, which is my number 2, your number 1 of in our All the Marbles. But last Mania, we saw that old Brutus here, gave Adrian Adonis a haircut after his match with Roddy Piper. So I don't know what sparked in the mind of Brutus Beefcake, but this man said, hey, maybe I should make this maybe this is my calling. Maybe I should just cut everyone's hair after every match that I have. Fuck, I'm obsessed with cutting hair. Nick, I think I want to cut your hair now because I'm so inspired by Brutus the Barber Beefcake. No, I would never do that. Don't even put that in your head. I would never do that
Thank
to you.
God. Thank God.
My
heart
I mean,
skipped
I
a
would
beat.
cut my
Oh my
own
God.
hair. Sometimes it gets a little long, but I wouldn't cut yours. But this got me thinking, and I wanted to ask you this question. We always talk about, and not just we, but everyone at the Tavern, all wrestling fans, about WWE or whoever it may be changing up wrestlers' gimmicks, and I always call it back to Gunther or Butch, these such outlandish changes to well-respected wrestlers. But you have to think of it in the fact that the wrestlers make the gimmicks work. I mean, Gunther is currently your Intercontinental Champion, and he's bringing prestige back to that championship. So in that case, I would say the wrestler makes the gimmick. However, look at someone like Brutus Beefcake. I mean, he was a wrestler that wasn't really getting a big spotlight originally, and then all of a sudden he gets this gimmick change from, fucking cutting Adrian Adonis's hair, and now all of a sudden he's rolling with it. So in this case, I would make the argument that the gimmick makes the wrestler. So this kind of got me thinking. I wanted to ask you, in your eyes, most of the time, or however you see it, does the wrestler make the gimmick, or does the gimmick make the wrestler? Which do you see happening more often?
That's a good question, because I think it really depends. Like, it depends on the gimmick, and it depends on like the talent as well. Because I feel like if you get such an outlandish character like this barber who is kind of insane, right? On paper it might look good, but you can't really perfect that without Brutus Beefcake, and he's been one of the highlights of some of these manias for me. So I don't know. It's a good question because there is I don't know. It's kind of hard to think of because I think of like some really just god awful gimmicks like Adrian Adonis, like the adorable Adrian Adonis. Go back and watch WrestleMania. Was it 1 or 2 that he was? I don't even give a fuck. Don't even do
I think
that.
2.
Just don't waste your time on it. Don't waste your time on it. I apologize. I can't believe I said that. But there's stuff like that it's just like kind of unsavable at this point. But you bring up like the Gunther name change as well. That was such a minor change. He's still kind of Walter to me, you know what I mean? But Butch is completely different. And he's still making that work. Like a lot of people like Butch now. So it is interesting. What do you think?
I mean, I think like all of our topics really on this show, it's a case-by-case scenario. Like, you get your Gunthers and, you make those gimmicks work. Of course, it's just a simple name change. But then you look at someone like Butch, but it's, the same thing. Like, it's Pete Dunne. Obviously, a lot of people refer to him as Pete Dunne, whatever you want to say. Look down in NXT 2.0. Like, you have names like Kaylee Ray and just everyone getting their gimmicks and name changed. And for the most part, wrestling fans are very acceptable of that, which, a while back, they really weren't. Like, you would see, like, Bray Wyatt on his debut getting chanted Husky Harris and all these different things. But nowadays, because it's become such a norm, you're starting to see a lot of more fans accepting it, which I think is pretty cool. And for the most part, I feel like the gimmick definitely enhances the wrestler if they're in a tight spot like Brutus was, because, let's look at it how it is. Like, if Brutus was just Brutus
was just a guy, right? He was
just a guy. Like, he was never going to be like that challenger for right. He was never going to be that challenger for Hogan or going up against Andre. He was just going to be like tag team Brutus or David Sammartino Brutus or whatever it may be. Same thing can be said about like Pete Dunne. Like, without the Butch gimmick, does he get paired up with Sheamus? Is he a regular fixture on SmackDown? I feel like the gimmick has a lot to do with the positioning of someone on the card, has a lot to do with the marketability of someone on the card. I think there's a lot to it. So if I had to pick one, I would say in most cases for the WWE, since that's what we're looking at right now, I would say in a Vince era, the gimmick made the wrestler. And that's just for the most part. But, we're entering a Triple H, Stephanie McMahon era. We may see that the wrestler may make the gimmick now, as opposed to the gimmick changing the wrestler and our perception of them. So like we said, it's really a case by case scenario, but it's an interesting topic to think about, like what really factors in most, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got for Road to WrestleMania. Are you ready to finally get into the show? I'm not, unfortunately, but are you?
I can't ever be ready mentally to get into this show, but let's get into the granddaddy of them goddamn all. Welcome to WrestleMania. Let's talk some wrestling. What do I do? What do I even do in this segment again? Do I just say what's happening in the wrestling? Do I?
Yeah,
Can we just
unfortunately.
can we come back next week and just do WrestleMania 5 or something? You just wanna
But what
keep-
if WrestleMania is
kidding.
5? I was gonna say, what if it was worse than this? But there's no way anything could be worse than this. I think this is the worst Mania. There's nothing gonna top this.
I mean, this is definitely the worst Mania that we've reviewed here on Before Our Time. I think the WrestleMania with 3 locations wasn't as bad as this because that at least had a
Yeah.
4 in my highest rated match on it. So, this was something. Acefield, if you're watching, I apologize. He said Mania is one of his favorites, and
No way. Ace, I'm sorry,
kinda
but
just-
this is not the episode to watch, bud. This is gonna be a doozy.
I mean, shout out to Ace, though, with sharing Flashback Friday with Ace and Mike Belcaster, 2 lovely gentlemen. But let's get into this wrestling. This WrestleMania, guys. I swear, every time I sit down and do this show, every Mania, I'm getting more and more American. I don't know if I'm just hearing the America the Beautiful over and over again, and I'm hoping by the time WrestleMania 39 rolls around that I'll be like a pure, like red, white, and blue Americans.
Yeah.
Put it in my veins.
No
I'll have
accent
an eagle
anymore,
poster
just
behind me.
bleeding red, white, and blue for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna have like, you know how people have deer like as a mantelpiece. I'm gonna have just an eagle right there, like a bald eagle. what a bald eagle? I don't know. Are they bald? They have feathers. It's just confusing.
A bald
Anyway,
feathered eagle.
yeah. Yeah. And then I wrote here in my notes, right, as we get into this Mania. Has the national anthem only been sung once in WrestleMania history? Because Mean Gene sang it. I don't know. Maybe in the later years, they've sung both, but Mean Gene sang it the first time.
For
because...
every Mania that we've experienced, it's always been America the Beautiful. But like you alluded to, like we got a good little rendition of America the Beautiful from Gladys Knight here. I'm gonna be honest, like this was a good one. She even threw in some My Country 'Tis of Thee, which, you know, a little spice up. I see you, Gladys, but like I don't think anything's topping the last 2 the last 2 America the Beautifuls that we've gotten. Like Ray Charles,
might as well be the national anthem.
Aretha Franklin. Nothing's topping.
Yeah, dude, I think Ray Charles just has my heart. The Hogan freeze frame at the end with the pixelated fireworks. I can't get that image out of my head. I'm sorry, I burped. That was a good
And I can't
burp.
get that
But we're
burp out of
brought
my
to you-
ears. But hey, we move.
I'm so sorry. You need to get that checked out or something.
Yeah,
But
my
we're
ears are
brought to
ringing
you
from
here
that.
by at the Trump Plaza, and we come to find out Donald Trump's a little Hulkster later on. But before we get there, Jesse Ventura invented drip. I'm really concerned, and not concerned, but just I'm very, I agree to myself that Jesse Ventura invented drip. I
agree
said
with you.
no one do this to no one, but thank you. At least someone does. But I've just convinced myself Jesse Ventura invented drip. This guy's wearing a freaking cowboy hat. He's wearing the wrestling singlet, and then he's wearing a gym weight belt too. And he's fucking just got some zebra print, dude. He's living life. And come to find out later on in this WrestleMania, they just give a whole applause and introduction to Jesse Ventura just to do.
Dude, this is the second
So,
Mania in a row that they're doing this. I think it's this time around. It's because they were actually the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger was coming out. So I understand if they want to present him as a star, but last year he was just in the ring and they're like, ladies and gentlemen, Jesse the Body Ventura. Okay, yes, true. Gorilla doesn't get his own introduction. Come on now.
Yeah. Where's Gorilla Monsoon's introduction? Needs to be JR coming down with the county fair music,
That's
whole thing
honestly
needs that.
like middle of the show at WrestleMania. Just Jesse Ventura gets his entrance. Just
Exactly.
the
Um,
AEW JR method. Just introduce him in the middle of the show for no reason.
I want everyone to get an introduction. Every photographer, every ring crew, every timekeeper.
Just
There'd be
every
so much
single
wasted
person.
time. Yeah, it'd be so much wasted time, and before our time would be estimated roughly 3.5 hours if we did that every episode. So,
And we're trying to
let's
cut
be
it to an
happy
hour
that
and a
that's
half
not.
here, and we would be there going for
Yeah.
4 hours longer. I think even though it would be a longer episode of Before Our Time, I feel like this Mania would still be longer because holy shit, this fucking Mania dragged on for so long. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Are you ready to get
It-
into this? You ready
it
to get into this
drained
first
me.
match?
Oh man, let's do it. I guess. Okay. Well, we have a 20-man invitational battle royal. This is something. Okay, I'm seeing these icons and idols. I'm liking it.
Yeah.
I wrote here. So this is the first match. I gave it 1 out of 5, and I'll say why. There's no loud ass banjo for Hillbilly Jim's entrance. Where's the go with that? I'm sensing a theme here with all these WrestleManias. Loud ass banjo, and we didn't get it. That's okay.
We didn't get it this
Whatever. George Animal Steel is here, my man. I hope he starts eating people. That'd be awesome. But George's tactic is on the outside, just pulling people out of the ring. That only works for a little bit. And I said, and I even wrote, I haven't been paying attention to the stuff in the ring because I've been distracted by George on the outside. And people on commentary even go, is he in or is he out? They don't even freaking know at this point if he got eliminated or he's been there since the start. No one even knows. So, but towards the end of this match, Bad News Brown formed a bond with Bret Hart. Bret's gotten to the 2 finals in the last 2 battle royals, I should say.
Yes,
He's
good
gotten
call.
to the finals and hasn't come up successful yet each time. The double team eventually eliminates Junkyard Dog, and Bret's celebrating as if they both won, Bad News Brown and Bret Hart. But Bad News Brown gets the win. Bret comes in to destroy the trophy afterwards after being double-crossed by Bad News Brown. But so this... making this, like, destroying the trophy, making this whole battle royal completely redundant. This could have just been left off of the card.
Yeah, I think a lot of things could have been left off the card, and this was surely one of them. I actually didn't know that this Mania had a battle royal. I always thought that it was like maybe 1 or 2 separate matches, but it was just the tournament. So it was a welcome surprise until it actually happened. However, I will say that this was a nice little showcase for Bret. I feel like we still haven't got a nice, this is Bret Hart type of match. It's always been the tag teams and the battle royals and the football players. Like, we haven't gotten a true coming out moment for Bret. So I guess the trophy was his face turn. I'm not exactly sure, but I guess we'll find out by WrestleMania.
It was confusing.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out by WrestleMania 5 if, he's a babyface by this point. But, yeah, I mean, like the last Battle Royal, it was a little hard to follow. Just moments are happening here and there, nothing huge. I mean, you get some callbacks with JYD and King Harley Race, which I thought was, tying in some loose ends. We even saw that the last Battle Royal when we had Andre and Big John Studd going at it. So there's a little bit of story, but not much that you could do here. And yeah, I mean, not much to say here. It was just a very sloppy match. I mean, you had big names like JYD and, Harley Race and all of these names just thrown out easily. Like, there was no real story to it. I did like I will say I gave it half a star. I was going to give it a dud, but I gave it half a star because of the final 3. I think that was a really nice final 3 and, the story being told
fun,
with
yeah.
the tag team and then Bad News Brown turns on him. But it wasn't enough to save the match. I gave it half a star.
Yeah, no, I gave it 1 just purely on that same reason. I like the people. I think I gave it a 1 just based off of the talent in this match. Junkyard Dog, big fan of. For some reason, he's got that dog in him. There we go. I reminded myself to say it this time around. But yeah, man, there's a lot of great people in here we've seen from the past few Manias that we've reviewed here on Before Our Time, only on the Turnbuckle Tavern Network, here on the YouTube channel. But any streaming platform for that matter. Oh my god, I'm getting my shilling in the middle of the goddamn show. But
Chill Billy Jim up in here.
Hillbilly Jim. Well, I'd probably get Banjo before Hillbilly Jim gets any Banjo in this match, and that's saying something. But
Instead of banjo music, you have just static mic noises that have been going on throughout this episode. That is your theme.
Hey! I keep forgetting. It's like so like just like second nature to keep moving my. I just bumped it again. There we go.
There
boom.
it is.
You're getting the static. You're getting in your ears. It's almost as bad as Is there a bell ringing by any chance?
Is there? I actually do hear a bell ringing, but
it's almost as annoying as that bell. Okay, I'll
it's
be
almost
honest. But
almost as
what can you do? It's the ring crew in the 80s, okay? You can't do anything about this. It's the timekeepers in the 80s. They're ringing the bell. They're causing the mic static. But anyway,
you got that Ray Charles mic tonight.
Yeah. The Ray Charles mic. That is like both an insult and a compliment. I'd take it as. So
take it as both.
Take
it as both.
Yeah. But let's get the fuck off of this match. The tournament's officially starting, and Rob Leach comes out, and the first round of the tournament is Hacksaw. I nearly said what the hell. Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Million Moolah Man, Ted DiBiase. And then I wrote here, Ted invented drip. There are so many drippy people, dude. Ted's got like the silver freaking pink shit going. Man, he's just inventing drip. So many drippy people. I keep moving my mic. I'm so sorry. So many drippy people here on this Mania, and I'm loving it. There's some good reversals happening here. Nice atomic drop sends DiBiase onto the outside, and Ted's selling here is great. I don't know if you picked up on that, but his selling is some of the greatest on this Mania, I think. Virgil has some drip as well. Look at him on the outside. You pull up that photo, very convenient. He's got the sleeveless red and silver suit. Everything. Everyone's looking drippy. Even Andre's looking drippy for his own sake. Okay, he has to get that tailored. You think there's 6XL shirts and stuff? No, he gets his tailor-made.
I have no idea, but however he got his shirts, it worked. He's got that Andre drip going. Yeah. We need a Mania drip segment of just the best dressed people on the show. That'll be a next week. Yeah, thing. There we go. Chad, get the bump ready. Get the little intro ready.
Get the drip bumper ready. But I wrote here. I only realized I realized here. We're going to have fucking 14 matches, I think I heard somewhere in the commentary. Someone said 14 matches. And I was like, how long is Mania again? And then I was just like, oh, well, Anthony and I are going to have a fun time trying to fit this in 2 hours. And then I wrote here, that's a lot of matches. I'm thinking we're in for a wild ride of weird finishes. And my God, we were.
Yes.
Jim Duggan's over with the crowd. I notice I always say this is like the classic babyface versus heel, like the good versus evil. And it's only classic because of this era and Mania's like this, you know what I mean? Like, we had the first match in Mania history was Tito Santana versus the Executioner. That was a classic good versus evil, and I love that to bits. And I think it's classic because of, you know, the people here in this era, and I thought that was a really cool kind of thing to take away. Andre scoops Duggan while Jim's running on the ropes and knocks him out cold. Ted gets the pin and advances into the tournament. So a little bit of kafuckery. I'm swearing so much this episode. I'm just Australian.
Same.
That's my vein.
I swear every episode.
Good. Oh, fucking good. There we go. If you have
perfect.
kids watching, don't. Or maybe you do. Who knows? But yeah, that was this match. I gave this 1.5. It was all right. It was just kind of there. And most of these matches I rated sort of similar to this because they were just kind of there. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the matches that impressed me a lot. And I'm not going to go like too much into it because we got a lot of these to get into. But you said it was the perfect babyface heel match, and I 100% agree. I feel like if there's nothing else during these 80s WrestleManias, it's that we have a lot of these just classic heel baby faces, and I think that's very different to the wrestling nowadays where that kind of line between the heel and baby face is blurred, which is still cool, but it's also very nice to see, like, you know, this is the guy you're rooting for, this is the guy you're rooting against, and they both have proper reasons to do so. However, I also love that this is a brawler versus technician matchup. And you see that throughout the match. Like, you know, Duggan has this powerful offense. DiBiase is like slowing it down. He's doing these reversals, but he's also selling so well, which I love that you brought up. DiBiase's selling is on point. And I mentioned in the Road to WrestleMania how there's some storytelling throughout this tournament. And really, the Andre interference is a good portion of that because, you have the, he's grabbing the foot, he's distracting the ref, he's doing whatever he needs to do. But Andre's interference was very nice. The finish was a little off, but I think that was just me being like disappointed that the heel won, which I guess that was the point. But overall, this was a really fun start to the show.
You know what's funny? You brought that up, man. Like the heel winning, and I thought about this the other day. Like that's why sometimes I might not like a match is because the heel won, and you know what that is? That's being worked, dude. We are getting worked in the 80s, and I can't believe I can't see through that shit. We're getting worked into an oblivion, and it's crazy, dude.
But yeah, I gave it 2 idols. This was a very surprising match. And you gave it 1.5. I think we were pretty close here. So yeah, this was a fun match.
Yeah, exactly. Like nothing else that I can add to this or that you didn't say or I didn't say. It was just kind of there, and it was good for the most part. So yeah. I think this is like a nice, well-rounded kind of average kind of scoring as well. But yeah, let's move on. So we had a backstage interview with Brutus the Barber Beefcake. He cuts a promo on the Honky Tonk Man. You can really see his character in full play, like we mentioned in the Road to WrestleMania segment. The past few Manias, he was just a guy, is what I wrote, and I'm so glad we touched on that in the Road to WrestleMania. But yeah, it's kind of cool that he's coming out now and he's in his full colors, and I like it. He's very toyetic, and I'm very close on getting a Brutus the Barber Beefcake figure now. So, but the match we had here was Dino Bravo versus Don Morocco, and I wrote here, big pop for Don Morocco. He's been a heel every Mania up until now, so seeing him with the tie-dye, seeing him getting praise from the crowd, it was weird. I was all here for it. I didn't really get Don Morocco. You'd always say like, oh yeah, he's kind of a legend, he's really good. I was like, he's kind of just a guy. Now I really like him because he's a babyface. I'm getting worked, and I love it. I'm getting work me all day, baby. This is great. But Morocco's being accompanied to the ring by superstar Billy Graham. And I wrote here, I've heard a lot about Dino Bravo. I even called him Canadian guy last Mania. So make sure I embarrass myself yet again. I didn't care much for Morocco, but you make a guy a babyface with a crowd and a pop like that, I tend to like them more. Which we kind of touched on with the being work thing. I wrote, there's some great wrestling in here. Both of these guys have speed, which you wouldn't assume by just their stature alone, which I thought was pretty cool. Dino grabs the ref, pulls him in the way. Morocco knocks him down, and Dino Bravo does a sidewalk slam as his finisher. He was amping up for the entire match. Oh, sidewalk slam, so devastating and vicious. Ref counts on Dino Bravo's shoulder to 3, which I thought was really weird. But Dino celebrates thinking that, yeah, exactly. And Dino celebrates like he won the match. And I'm like, oh, maybe he did win the match. But the outcome is announced as a disqualification, with Morocco getting the victory and advancing because of Dino pulling the ref. And I did not see that coming at all. I did not see that outcome coming. I thought Dino Bravo was just going to win, and that was kind of it. It confused the hell out of me. I gave this 2. You gave this 1. Let me hear it.
Not much to say on this. I didn't think this was a great look for Morocco, which he would go on to save himself in a later match, which we'll get to. But I don't know. This was the ending, I will say, was really where the 1 star comes in, or the 1 idol, if you will, came in. Morocco getting caught up in the ropes by his neck was a great visual. I don't even know how that happened, but he gets caught up in the ropes.
A lot of people get caught up in the ropes in these Manias, I've noticed, and I'm like,
yeah, Andre every match,
on every Andre match, he's stuck in the ropes. That's his little signature move. Yeah,
I love it, and I love seeing this because it was a different take on it. We got a referee bump in this match, which was cool. That also added to this, this rating and finish. It took me a little bit to understand what was going on, but I liked it. I liked the even though the 1, 2, 3. If he maybe slapped his back once more, then I would understand it. But I thought he was just counting the 3 on his back. But the finish was cool. The match was just a little slippy and slidey for me. I didn't really think this was a great showcase for Morocco, even though he has done a lot of really good work so far across these manias. And from what we see later on, he will continue to do so. So I gave this 1 star. It wasn't a strong 1 star for me. It was just, it was there.
It was just kind of there, and that's a lot of these matches. They're just there, because this is a tournament. You're gonna get those kind of, those kind of, I don't want to, pun intended, dud matches. We'll get into, a little dud later, but it was just kind of there, and I didn't mind it too much. I thought Dino Bravo was really cool. Get to see him properly, as opposed to last Mania when he was just by a ring. By ringside, I should say. And Don Morocco as a babyface, I like it. So I think I was here for that. But let's move on to the next thing. We had Ricky Steamboat and Greg Valentine. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Before the match, actually, wait. I'm looking at the ratings right here. Okay. I can't wait to get all into this. This is going to be so juicy and salty. Oh, brother. But there's a Honky Tonk Man backstage segment. And Bob Uecker is there.
Uecker,
I wrote Bob Uecker because who the hell cares about Bob Uecker? So that's what I wrote here. But yeah, we have Greg the Hammer Valentine, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Ricky comes out with a little dragon, his little son, I'm assuming. Very, very cute stuff. They're both former Intercontinental champions. That kind of came to mind as reviewing the past few Manias. Ricky is so fast, my goodness. He's hitting those ropes faster than my father hit me in my formative years.
Jesus Christ, Nick.
I just said that to Poppy, I'll be honest. But this is the first time I noticed that there's a 15-minute time limit. I love how I'm just not going to bring that up. It's just moving right past it.
Just move.
Guys, I'm fine. I'm fine.
He's fine. He's fine.
There's a 15-minute time limit, which I noticed on this match, and I'm going into it like, oh, okay, I'm liking it. I'm a figure nut straight away, and I'm thinking they've always made Ricky Steamboat so skinny in his wrestling figures. They give him like that Finn Balor torso. Ricky Steamboat was always jacked, man. Since birth, I'm pretty concerned. He was jacked since birth.
He just came out of the womb looking like a beefcake, not to be confused with the barber.
He came out of the womb looking like WrestleMania 1 Ricky Steamboat, where he's just fucking built. Just this body mass, you know what I mean?
He was born and just started throwing backdrops and like back suplexes, arm drags. Beef Ricky Steamboat, baby.
Fucking love it. That's the best Ricky Steamboat era. I'm moving them. Oh my god, it's so
Jesus.
second nature. Look, if I just do it, just put a laugh track or something. I don't know. Imagine there's a laugh track, because I don't fucking know. No. But. And then, for some reason, this came into my mind watching this match. I think I got so just bored, and I think started thinking other stuff. But WrestleMania 3, in the King Kong Bundy match, there was mini wrestling. And young Anthony and I, we go way back talking about mini wrestling and the mini Royal Rumble. And the mini wrestling in general. That's what we were going to base before our time off of. Surprisingly enough, but then we didn't go with that. We went with something maybe more suitable for people watching, and it was just WrestleManias. So maybe if you guys want to see before our time mini wrestling, just let us know. We'll watch some little people wrestle. But I don't know how that came into my mind. But I'm liking Valentine doing the timber falling down kind of sell. It's very, very good. Steamboat goes to the top rope for a flying crossbody. But as he lands on Valentine, Greg rolls up the pin on Steamboat, and Valentine advances. I gave this 2.5. I thought this was pretty good. I kind of thought the average for these matches were, for me, at least 2 out of 5. So I wanted to give it like a little bit of a nudge, because I didn't think it was that average. I thought it was a little bit above average, therefore giving it 2.5. But you gave it just a half. So let me hear what you have to say.
Ricky was impressive, as he always is. Very fast. The beginning of the match, he looked super impressive. But Greg Valentine, to me, is... How do I put this? I feel like I've enjoyed the tag matches that Greg Valentine has been in more than his singles matches. And when you
Yeah.
take him out of his element, and like I see Greg Valentine from these last 4 Manias, he's been involved in each of them as a tag team wrestler. He just works much better as a tag team guy. Like, taking the most amount of damage, selling, cutting the ring in half, doing all that stuff as a tag team guy. But like, how many times could you do like the flop? Like you mentioned it, but he did it like 10 times.
He did
I
it
get
3
it.
times.
I get it. How many times could you do that? Like, most of the match was just him like slowing it down, and it was very slow at times. And then Ricky finally rallies back, but it was very lackluster. It was only a few moves, and then Greg just, wins quickly. He really brought this match down a lot. It was the same thing with the Junkyard Dog match. Like, this was really because of Greg Valentine. Maybe I just don't like Greg Valentine. If you're watching this, the Hammer, I don't know what to tell you. But look, I'm just not a big fan of these Greg
Called
Valentine.
out on
I'm
before
sure,
our
like,
time. This is an exclusive right here.
oh, young Anthony hates Greg Valentine. Listen, I understand the type of wrestler that he is, and I appreciate it because you need those type of heels. But I don't know. I was bored from this match. It held back Rookie, and plus, if you look at the tournament bracket, which I want to pull up real quick, and then we can move on to the next match. If you look, where is it? In the top left. So, excuse me, top right. Ricky Steamboat, Greg Valentine. Underneath is Randy Savage versus Butch Reed, which is a match we're about to get to. So if Ricky Steamboat got this win, we could have seen the rematch between Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage. Why we did not get that, I have no idea. But this was the biggest missed opportunity so far in any of these WrestleManias, and I was mad, and it made me hate Greg the Hammer Valentine, so I had to give it half a star.
Dude, next Starcast, Greg Valentine's going to have his little booth, and you're going to go up and be like, yeah, you're calling me racist, you're calling me, you know what I mean? You're going to do that whole thing.
I'm going to have a Bill Body moment with Greg Valentine.
Yeah. If you get that reference, bless your heart. Young Anthony, if you're working at Starcast, dude, that sounded so Australian. Starcast, make sure you ban this menace, okay? Because if Greg Valentine's there, I don't even know if Greg Valentine's still alive or not. I think he is. Maybe. He is. Do you know if he is? Okay. Well, that perfect opportunity to cut a promo and have Greg Valentine's last match. How about that? Ric Flair, eat your heart out. How about that?
Greg Valentine's like, hey, Conrad, book it. Let's do it.
Hey, it's Conrad. Book it, baby. That's what I have to say. But yeah, you bring up like very valid points in this, and I think I was a little Anthony, I was buzzed going into that. I was a little buzzed. Okay, this is how I enjoy most of the first half of every Mania. I'm a little bit buzzed. Okay,
I get it,
and it's only because of stuff like this, and I think I might have enjoyed it a little bit more because when you're a little bit buzzed, you tend to enjoy stuff a little bit more. Especially for me, WWE, WWF. I think it's so much more fun. Guys, stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't drink. Don't drive. Maybe drive if you want. This is turning into a TED talk. I don't know what the fuck is happening. You can drive if you want, but just don't drink. Unless it's H2O or something. But who knows? I actually have, I don't know about you, but I have moonshine in this. Always, every
don't have
episode
anything. I should have gotten water because we normally go on for a long time, but I did not bring water for some reason. But I should have.
Yeah, so this is just moonshine every time. And I've drinking 5 gallons of moonshine this one episode. So let's get into the next match, which was Macho Man versus Butch Reed. I don't know what's happening here. But for some reason, Donald Trump is in the crowd, right? We see him, and Jesse Ventura says that's his main man. I don't know if he regrets saying that nowadays or anything, but that's concerning. There's a big pop for Matilda for me because we'll get a backstage segment with the Bulldogs, I believe, which is very, very nice. And I also noted here for this match, there's some piped in stock music with some piped in boos for Butch Reed. I don't know if you noticed that, but on the network, on Peacock, it's piped in. It's so obviously like boos from the WWE 2K games or something. Like it's just bad. I gave this 2.5 out of 5, and let me tell you why.
Tell me why.
I wrote here, whoever comes out the victor to this has to face Valentine in the quarterfinals. That's just something I picked up. Macho doing the finger twirling thing. I'm already loving Macho's charisma. I'm already having like a good time with this match just by watching Macho Man and what he's doing. His charisma alone. I believe Butch Reed, though, is a real threat going into this. He has the size. He has the offense. It makes me think he's a real threat to Macho Man. Savage gets up to the top rope, drops that most iconic elbow drop, and picks up the dub. There you can see, here you go, hand right on his penis. Very, very nice.
Jeez. I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, you're not. Look, this moonshine, when you drank 5 gallons of it, young Anthony, no. But Savage gets up to the top rope eventually, drops the iconic elbow drop, picks up the dub, advances to face Greg Valentine in the quarterfinals, I believe. But yeah. I gave this 2.5 out of 5. It was I don't know what I was thinking, young Anthony. You tell me.
This match sucked. Most of the match was Butch Reed. And look, another one, Butch Reed. Maybe it's because I haven't seen a lot of Butch Reed. I don't know what his character is, the natural. I'm more into Slick, his manager. I think he's cool. But this is the second nothing match that Butch Reed has been involved in at WrestleMania. Last year, it was Coco Beware, and I literally wanted to rip my eyes out because I was watching many matches. That was bad. I thought last year we had a lot of matches. We have 16 matches we have to get through, and we're not even halfway done yet. Butch Reed, there's no reason why Butch Reed should be on this show. I'm sorry. The match was okay. I love some of the offense of Butch. Him, bouncing off the ropes really impressed me. There's only 2 people in this world that I'm impressed on how they bounce off the ropes. One of them is Brock Lesnar. The second man is Butch Reed. Go back and watch just how he bounces off the ropes. Looks dope. Savage's comeback was fiery. It was quick. If this match was a little longer, maybe we're talking about star and a half, idol and a half. But it's a good way to make Savage look strong in a fast-paced match. You still want to make him the underdog. He's not the odds-on favorite to win. So a quick match here, but I wish we saw a little bit more. But it's just a tune-up for Savage, really.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much that. I have no way to justify my 2.5. I don't know. I think I was just having a silly goose time. Also, I think what really caught me was Randy's just charisma overall, and I think, like you mentioned, Butch Reed's just explosiveness kind of into the ropes and stuff like that. Just little things, nuances here and there that I don't know. I'd be like, okay, this is better than an above-average match, maybe for the 80 standards, at least for what we've done for the past 4 Manias. So I gave it a little bit of that. But let's not harp on this match for too long because we got, oh my god, 11 more matches to get fucking through. This is your first stud of the night and the first stud of this Mania. Maybe the only dud. Find out. Stay tuned and find out. But it was One Man Gang versus Bam Bam Bigelow. Before this match started, there was another fucking thing with Bob Uecker, dude. We need a Uecker counter or something. We need
a Uecker counter. Dude, we should have made a Uecker counter.
He's like Clippy from fucking Microsoft Word. He just comes up when in every 5 minutes. It's so annoying.
So fucking funny.
I'm right here. This Bob Uecker guy's doing a lot of talking for someone. I still have zero clue who he is.
He's Mr. Baseball. You didn't catch him?
He's rubbing that in his face. Mr. Baseball, dude. I'm Mr. fucking Kangaroo. I can say I'm Mr. fucking Ketchup. I can say anything. Sure. I have no clue who Mr. Baseball is. What even is a baseball? Is that's the thing from Wii Sports, I believe.
Yes. I was good at Wii Sports. That's the only baseball. Now I'm thinking about it. Anyways, continue.
We gotta run some Wii Sports when we meet up. But
hell yeah.
I wrote here, this Slickster guy just manages all the worst people. I swear to God, he just manages all the heels. They're just awful. And I think Jesse Ventura says, I hope this ring is reinforced, and my God, I fucking hope it is too, because these guys are massive. That's a lot of meat in one ring, I'll tell you that much. But Bam Bam does a cartwheel That's a lot of beef. Bam Bam does a cartwheel for some reason. I'm loving it. You know, there are cross bodies flying everywhere, which I did not expect because of the stature of these guys. I read here, these big men aren't acting like big men in today's wrestling. They're, you know, how like, you know, the people in today's wrestling maybe barely take bumps if they're a big man. They're more slow pace. I thought these guys were kind of fast for their size and kind of hard hitting and actually taking a fair few bumps as well, which surprised me at least. Bam Bam is hyping up the crowd, about to hit the ropes, and Slickster moves the ropes. Bam Bam topples onto the outside, and the match ends due to a count out. The ref counted to 10 when Bam Bam was on the apron, which I thought was really weird. So One Man Gang wins and advances. What do you think of this?
Well, before we get into this match, and obviously everyone sees what my rating is, and it was a dud. But I feel like I can't like express to you why this is a dud. Instead, I want to show you why this is a dud. And I'm going to take you right now back to the ending of Bam Bam Bigelow versus One Man Gang by way of
Alfred Vision!
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Cloudy bifocals of yours. Those are your box seats down there. Right, Donald Trump. It happened right in front of him. He saw it. What happened? Count out? What is this? Disqualification? You got a bell. Your heads are count out. Let's find out. Let's go to our ring announcer.
Here is the decision. The referee awards this bout as a result of a countdown to the One Man Gang.
That's why I gave this a dud.
Just him doing the fucking cartwheel, and then it's like, let's count it out. It's just
Dude, like immediately, you would think like, you know, gets in the ring, throws a punch. He gets in the ring, and for some reason, Bam Bam Bigelow thinks, I need to do another cartwheel. And he does another cartwheel, and the ref just calls for the bell. Like,
I don't think I even fucking caught that. That is so funny.
well, I caught that, and I needed to make sure that everyone saw that because I was about to give it like maybe half a star, like Bam Bam Bigelow. They were building him up around this time. But once I saw Bam Bam Bigelow get in the ring and throw a cartwheel, like not even like a cartwheel that like his foot hits One Man Gang in the head. No, man was just, he hit the control pad on his PS4 controller to taunt instead of hitting square to throw a punch. This man just completely like taunted in the middle of the match. But the count out, he also, I want to call out that Gorilla Monsoon throws out the irresistible force meeting the immovable object line.
Yes,
in
dude.
this
I'm
match.
so glad you fucking picked this up. That I was like, wait, that's go back a year. Gorilla.
That's the other match. My notes I wrote, holy shit, this was bad. And Bam Bam gets in the ring and immediately hits a cartwheel. LOL. Dud. Those were my notes. I feel like nothing else needs to be said. As long as you see that cartwheel, that is why this is a dud.
It makes me want to give this match a dud after just seeing that clip. So let's just scratch this off. Let's call it a day. Call it a dud. Let's move on. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So Mean Gene is with Hogan in the back, which is nice before this first round match gets started off. The Jake Robertson versus Rick Rude. There's a backstage segment. Hogan and Mean Gene, Gene Mean, if you will.
Gene Mean. Well, let me take the reins on this one real quick because we do have,
of course,
a Hulk Hogan promo, and honestly, we mentioned like the cocaine Hulk Hogan era last WrestleMania. That's really where it kicked in. I don't know about you, but this may be the craziest Hulk Hogan promo I have ever heard, and I think it is time that the fans hear it too, back to back, by way of
Alfred Vision.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
But as Donald Trump hangs on to the top of the Trump Plaza with his family under his other arm as they sink to the bottom of the sea. Thank God Donald Trump's a Hulkamaniac. He don't know enough to let go of his materialistic possessions. Hang on to the wife and kids. Dog paddle with his life all the way to safety. But Donald, if something happens, you run out of gas, and all those little Hulkamaniacs run out of gas. Just hang on to the largest back in the world, and I'll dog paddle us, backstroke all of us to safety.
killing me with these Alfred Visions, man. I don't know what channel Alfred Vision is on. Please cancel this show. That is the most I've laughed in any of in before our time history. Did not expect Hogan to, because you've done you know Alfred Vision has like the deep kind of voices, whatever.
Right.
Alfred Vision, it's just the signaling, I guess, from all the way in his lordship's humble abode, you know.
Of course.
I did not expect Hulk Hogan to have that voice. It's like, have you seen the movie Up, where it's like the big dog of the
Yes.
pack has like that high pitched voice? That's exactly what that was like just then.
That is a
little
perfect
upgrade.
comparison. I completely agree with you.
But dude, yeah, I knew this promo just because of him going and then doing the backstroke. That's how I
backstrokes.
knew this, because I saw it in GIFs, right? Or just everywhere.
Right.
I just saw it. It was
Exactly.
one of those clips,
Same.
and I was like, that's from this. I fucking love it. But yeah, dude, I don't normally get amped for Hulk Hogan matches due to his like work rate or something like that. But it's promos like these and burps like those where you see the passion and you know, just a lot of stuff like that with Hulk Hogan. Man, I'm dick riding Hulk Hogan not literally. Hold on a second. Not literally. This is not
Definitely
one of those
not
shows,
literally.
even though it's not literally. Okay,
Jesus
no,
Christ.
not literally, but I don't get amped up, you know, for his actual match, you know, work rate, because it's kind of fucking shit, right? But the
Right.
promos, they get me invested. I'm like, what's gonna happen? What's the outcome gonna be? Which I really like about Hulk Hogan. But as we get into the next match here, Rick Rude versus Jake Roberts, man. Is this the first time we've seen Rick Rude on Mania history? I think it is.
I think it is, yes.
Yeah, Rick Rude. He does a promo kind of thing when he's in the middle of the ring. He cues for his music as he takes his robe off, whatever. And I'm writing here, Jake's bringing Damien. I'm so happy. This is the last match of the first round. The winner of this meets One Man Gang. And I noticed here they called Don Morocco The Rock. I don't know if you noticed
Yes,
that throughout this
he was
movie.
the original Rock. So just a quick, before we get into the remainder of this. So he was the original Rock, like that was his nickname because Morocco, whatever. And the reason why he turned face, I just learned from my good friend Tyler from Counted Out 7, shout out to him, was because he saved superstar Billy Graham from an attack from someone. I forget exactly who it was, but he saved him from an attack. And Don Morocco turned face. His face turn would only last for a short amount of time because he was mainly known for his heel work. But yeah, the tie-dye, all of that, that's babyface The Rock right there. So he was the original Rock.
Fun fact right there. Yeah, that's something I kept picking up on during the night, and I was like, oh, that's kind of strange. But I wrote here, Jake the Snake has been a highlight of some of these manias for me, so I'm actually really excited to watch this. Nice tease of Damien in a camera shot, just kind of by ringside, which is really nice. Rick Rude's tights, I always thought were really cool.
Love them.
He's got a whole ass face just printed on his whole ass, if you will. And the whole kind of story of this match is Rick is evading Jake's DDT. There's a nice crisscross sequence as well, which you brought up a few manias ago. There was one match doing a crisscross sequence. Love it. Don't know why we don't see more of it, because it just really like amps up the kind of the intensity of the whole thing. Ends in a beautiful body slam by Roberts. The crowd's really behind Jake Roberts here, which is nice. Heenan distracts the ref. Rude gets a tight double hand choke on Roberts, and I'm writing here, Jake's selling is on point, which is something I brought up in a couple other manias as well. Jake Roberts selling. I don't know if he's known for it, but he should be, because it's very, very, it's great. It's great. Just like Ted DiBiase, it's some great stuff here. The crowd is chanting for the DDT, which I thought was really interesting. Rick Rude gets his feet on the rope for a cheeky pin on Jake, but the ref calls it, the bell rings, no one knows what's happening, I'm confused, and then it gets announced that it's a draw, and both men are eliminated from the tournament. What a fucking gross finish. I gave this 2, you gave this 1, let me hear what you have to say.
Yeah, again, variation of finishes, so I don't mind the draw. What I do mind is that this was the entire match. This picture right here.
Yeah.
Literally rest holds for the entirety of this match. I feel like they were they didn't have a plan for this match, and they knew that they wanted to go the 15-minute time limit draw. Like, that was the finish. So they were just like, just hold or rest hold for the entire match. Like Rick Rude, definitely cool to see him, but he doesn't really get a good showcase in this match. Also, Jake Roberts is so over with the fans. The fact that he doesn't, get a chance to showcase how good of, being in the ring that he is also kind of annoying. Like, we saw how good he was at WrestleMania 2, and I feel like ever since then we haven't seen like that type of Jake. And maybe we don't see that type of, maybe he's calmed down ever since, but like, I feel like we don't get that, energy, that selling from Jake. And I gave this one idol. It's a lot of just rude offense. I like Bobby's inclusion. On the outside, he's playing his role well as the heel manager, but like, goddamn, pal, this match just dragged on for so long. Like, I just wrote, like, this sucked. Like, a long, drawn-out Rick Rude offensive showing, very brief comeback from Jake Roberts, and another BS finish. And this is when I'm starting to pick up on, like, just like last Mania, we are getting so many, like, BS finishes here. And that's going to be a trend for the remainder of the show. Not a lot of clean finishes here. You can count on, like, 3 fingers how many clean finishes we get, if that, on WrestleMania 4. I feel like we should have gotten a much better match with these names that are involved. Like, so many people call them some of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, some of the greatest wrestlers to never hold a world championship. So the fact that we got this type of match, which was just very slow and drawn out, had to give it 1.
Yeah, you bring up valid points, man. It's just rest holds for this whole match. I think I gave it 2 based on, like, I always try and include presence alone as well into this sort of thing. The fact Jake was able to get the snake out, that sounds... We're not going there eventually, but, it doesn't do anything with it. But look at you just shaking your head. Look, let's just move on to the next match. Anyway.
Let's just move on.
We got Hercules Hernandez versus Ultimate Warrior, which is the first time we've seen Warrior on a Mania, and I wrote that I thought we would have seen this a lot sooner.
Yeah.
just judging on, Ultimate Warrior's just credibility and legend status, right?
Sure.
And the rope shakes are here. I'm loving it. There are 2 powerhouses in the ring. Crowd is really behind Warrior here. He already has the it factor about him, and the crowd gets that, which I thought was cool. Hercules does a German suplex but doesn't let go. Warrior lands his shoulder up and gets the pin, actually. I had to go back and look at this, but I thought there was a pretty creative way to actually get the pinfall here and not look too dickish and too DQ-ish. What do you think? I gave this 1.5.
I give this 1, but I will say that this is as strong of a 1 as I could give it. I think it was just a very limited match. Like, you knew you weren't going to get a 5-star classic with the Ultimate Warrior. However, I will say that, when you get to see a lot of these wrestlers, like, repetitively and seeing the matches that they're in, you start to, like, form a bond with them. I'm forming a very strong bond with Hercules Hernandez. He is really selling me on his match. Like, his matches aren't great, right? Like, they're okay matches. The Billy Jack Haynes match from last Mania, the Full Nelson Challenge, I thought that was a fun match, with the blood and everything. His match with Steamboat was fucking... Love that match. I think it's still in my top 10. Spoiler, after this Mania. This match, although it's not a fantastic match, like, I gave it 1 idol, but it's like I said, a very strong 1 idol. Good offense from Warrior, kind of sloppy, but like I said, he's never been known for his work rate and wherever. I thought it was a little bit of an awkward finish. Both guys' shoulders are down, but Warrior picks up his shoulder at the last second. I feel like if this is Warrior's first showing, you could have made him look a little bit stronger, but the fact that you're putting him up against someone who you've been building up for so long, clearly with these Manias, as a, like, credible challenger, I feel like this would be like a first good real challenge for Warrior. Like, someone who's not like that main event talent, but who will give you like, oh, maybe Warrior's going to lose to this guy. And that's what I see with Hernandez. Like, you know, his matches with Steamboat, match with Billy Jack Haynes, like those build him up as a credible opponent. And, you know, it all gets to this match. You know, it was fine, but it was a very strong fine. I feel like that's weird to say, but one idol regardless.
Exactly, yeah. Not much else to say on this match. Let's get into this. I was looking forward to this match, dude. Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Hulk Hogan. But is there something you need to get off your chest?
I think there is something I want to get off my chest, and that is a little introduction.
Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan.
That's me trying to do Hulk Hogan. Is that
And
good?
this is me doing the...
Sorry, maybe that's too harsh. Anyway, I was excited for this. This is the main event of last year's Mania, WrestleMania 3. So going into this, you know, by way of Alpha Division that we saw before, I'm super pumped for this. Hulk Hogan with his Alvin the Chipmunk voice, love him to bits. And we see the same video package that was kind of similar to last year's Mania.
Yeah.
Shows kind of a recap. I thought it was the exact same, but then they showed stuff that happened in the actual WrestleMania match. I got a burp again. Oh, dude, that was meaty. Anyway,
Great. Excellent.
I'm writing here because this was like towards the end of the night. For me, I wrote, I'm delirious and I'm loving it. This is me at my sleepiest right now, and I'm watching this match. So we see how we got here a whole year later, which is great. The ref counts a 3 with like Hogan's shoulder up and kind of crowned a new champion in the video. But yeah, stuff like that and all the video package stuff. But Real American plays, and I'm excited for him, man. He's been Hogan's been champion for every Mania we've watched. So going into this, it's kind of like feels like second nature that Hogan should be a champion going into WrestleMania.
For sure.
So the fact that he's not even coming out as champ, you know, this is something just
a little
new
weird.
and interesting. Hogan runs into the ring and the action starts there. They immediately start brawling. This place is going bananas for Hogan's offense. Andre's tied up in the ropes, you know, as we mentioned, like that. And Hulk finally rips his shirt off, dude, because Andre's just there. You know, Hogan still has his shirt on, and he finally rips it off like two minutes into the match, amping up the crowd. Great to see. Hogan breaks the grip of the Giant. He's signaling for the body slam, you know, as we've seen, but Virgil distracts the ref. Deviously whacks Hogan with a steel chair, doesn't phase him at all. And then Hogan whacks Andre with the chair, with the ref looking right at him, and then nothing happens, no DQ, and then Andre gets the chair, and then hits Hogan, and then it's a double DQ, and both these men are eliminated from the tournament. What the fuck? What the fuck? When we're talking about finishes, I think this might be the worst in this Mania for me. What the fuck? So you had, I'm just gonna, Hogan whacked Andre with the chair. The ref is looking right at it, and he goes, the ref just doesn't do anything about it. And then 20 seconds later, Andre has a chair because he's big and he's slow, and he fucking whacks Hulk with it. And then
he's like, no, that's it. Now that got me. Now we're gonna throw this out.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about this, man, but yeah, Andre just throws the chair on Hogan's dome as well. That chair shot Hogan took, oh my god, definitely added to his 2015 era, if you remember that. But this match is over. They're still going at it. Both men been disqualified. I'm pissed. At least Hogan got to body slam Andre, and I'm okay with that. But it doesn't end there because Jesse Ventura and Venturia, who is that? That's a new person I made up. Jesse Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon are talking for about 2 minutes, just on commentary about the match, about stuff that's coming up, and Hulk is just posing and flexing to the crowd for the whole 2 minutes. Anyway, so I gave this 2 out of 5 icons. You gave all this 2 out of 5 as well. So let's hear you, Antoine, get into this.
2 minutes of posing, dude. It felt like fucking 15 hours of Hulk Hogan posing. Yeah. Literally, I wish I was kidding. I started dozing off during his posing because I don't know if like Real American just like makes me sleepy, but I'm literally sitting in this exact spot and my head is just like falling and I'm like sleeping and I'm like, oh shit, I have another half of WrestleMania watch. Yes, I was too much posing, but as Tyler from Count It Out always says, Hogan must pose. Hogan must pose. Nevertheless, a lot of posing from Hogan after the match, but I will say this was definitely a much faster match than we got last year. And honestly, I'm here for it. I think I just like fast wrestling. And when it's slow, I just get easily bored. So this time around, seeing a much quicker start to the match and everything with like, just love the spot of Andre like getting caught in the ropes and Hogan now seeing that Andre is in the ropes. Now he can take his shirt off, like rip his shirt off. He's like, oh, okay.
He's clear.
He's preoccupied. Now I can take my shirt off. That was hysterical. And this match finally woke the crowd up. We haven't really mentioned it, but like, I don't know if you caught on. The crowd was kind of dead for a good portion of this show.
Yeah.
Like little moments here and there, but like they were on fire for this match. So I love that. Andre technically should win this match because Hogan hit him with the chair first. But, you know, maybe there's just a conspiracy against Hulk Hogan. We actually, we did Macho Man versus Hogan at next year's Mania on Classic Match Classroom. And we talked about this match, how, you know, technically Andre should have won. And Tyler is good friends with former WWE referee Jimmy Corderas. And they, you know, he's interviewed him multiple times on his show and stuff. So we tweeted Jimmy Corderas and we asked him, shouldn't Andre have won this match because, you know, he got hit with a chair. And Jimmy Corderas agreed, like, technically, yes, he should have won the match, but it's WrestleMania, so we need to, you know, put up the spectacle a little bit. And I'm like, don't give them the benefit of the doubt, Jimmy Corderas. We should have gotten Andre in the semifinals or whatever the next match was. Yeah, man, I like this match a lot. I don't know if I would put this above the main event of WrestleMania 3. Probably not because of the historical significance, but I do like that we got a different take on this match. Kind of what we were talking about, you know, in the Hogan and Andre topic at Road to WrestleMania. Like, it needs to feel different than the match before. So it definitely had a completely different feel. Andre looked really good in this match, a lot better than he did in 87. I don't know if his health was better around this time. Maybe it was worse. Maybe he had like 30 bottles of wine instead of 15 bottles of wine this time around. Who knows? But nonetheless, I was really pleased with this match. 2 idols from me.
Yeah, 2 idols for me, man. Not much else you can say about this. And I was fearing that we won't see any more Hogan going into this night, and I was sad about that. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
Oh,
Next
we
match
got some Hogan.
we have up. Oh, we got some Hogan, baby. But next match we have up is Don Morocco versus Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. I gave this 1.5. You gave this 2. Let's get goddamn into this. We start off the quarterfinals. We started it off with Hogan and Andre, I guess, because they got a bye. So we're still in the quarterfinals here. Morocco grabs DiBiase by his hair, throws him in the ring to get it started. For the most part, it's Don Morocco with the offense on DiBiase. But Ted gets a choke on Morocco. This is kind of just a match. I wrote most of these, you know, kind of felt like that. Ted gets the pin on Morocco and makes it to the finals, with One Man Gang automatically advancing due to both competitors being DQ'd. Whatever, something. I gave this 1.5. What'd you think?
Dude, I love this match for some reason. Like, this is the second DiBiase match that he makes his opponent look really good. I also want to call out the fact that I've definitely heard Don Morocco's new theme song on an episode of SpongeBob. I feel like it was King Neptune's Arrival or something. This was absolutely on SpongeBob. God. It's that royalty-free music that just all the TV shows use. But Don Morocco, I mentioned it before, he did not look very good in that Dino Bravo match. Definitely saved himself here. Very agile for his size, much better showcase here. And DiBiase is just selling superb in this match. I don't know if you caught the DiBiase goes to the top rope and he goes for a back elbow drop and he completely misses. I thought that was amazing. Him selling the effects of that. I feel like he completely just flips after, which looked just overall just a really nice match here. Of course, it wasn't like a fantastic match. I only gave it 2 idols, but a very strong 2 idols at that. A great showing by both guys. DiBiase is a fantastic heel in just this entire Mania. I don't know, man. He might have a strong case for this Mr. Mania, but we'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah, exactly, man. I gave this 1.5. Everything you said, man, this is a strong 1.5. This is definitely stronger than the other 1.5, and maybe we should even bump this up to 2 just because everything, like you said, Deviously was still selling it. So I thought this was really great, but we got a fair few matches to go through. Oh my god, we're only at number 10. We have 6 more to go through, ladies and gents.
Yes,
So
but this is actually a match that's going to break us away from the tournament, and it is for the Intercontinental Championship.
The Honky Tonk Man versus Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yeah, man, this is pretty great. Dude, wait, is there Greg Valentine and Macho Man on here?
Yes, there is. I completely forgot to add in the overlay. Well, you know what? Let's talk about this match now that we already now that we've already introed it and just completely messed up the order. Let's talk about this match. Then we'll go back to the Greg Valentine match.
Yeah, dude, I thought I fucking watched some random match in the middle of this Mania somewhere.
No, you are because
I just have Greg
correct.
Valentine. Whew, okay, because that confused the hell out of me. So, Honky Tonk Man, Brutus Beefcake, this was a nice break up to the tournament. Wasn't very nice. I fucking hate Honky Tonk Man. This guy sucks. I wrote, oh god, Honky Tonk is Intercontinental Champion. Who greenlit this idea? People are really behind the whole barber character too. The crowd wants Brutus to cut that mop off of Honky's head. I'm all for it. Beefcake is super over. He signals for the shears. I want to see Honky Tonk's hair gone, ski. You understand? I want it gone. But Jimmy Hart sneakily chokes Beefcake while the ref is distracted. Honky Tonk has the offense. Tries to do the shake, rattle, and roll, but Brutus retaliates. Brutus has a nice sleeper applied. Looks like Honky Tonk is going to go out. But Jimmy Hart distracts the ref, hits him with the megaphone. The ref is down. Beefcake just thinks he won. But Brutus is chasing Jimmy Hart with the scissors all around the ring and cuts his hair off. And the crowd is going nuts for this. And then I'm super confused. The match is over somehow. Who fucking knows? But winner by DQ is Brutus Beefcake. So, it was a little bit confusing to say the least. I was all here for Brutus the Barber Beefcake though. Give me him all day. He's my Mania daddy, if you will. He's just been there. He's all reliable. All reliable.
Old reliable is a good word for Brutus Beefcake. But yeah, man, this was another really good showing for a guy that wasn't really presented well in previous Manias. Like we've talked so much about Beefcake already, but like this gimmick definitely saved his perception. Like, you know, you can definitely tell that he's a main fixture going forward with this gimmick. Of course, he's not going to be a main event guy, but like he is in a much better position on the card.
He fits it, man. He's one of those people. He gets the gimmick, you know, and he just makes it his own. And he really like fit the character, like some coked out barber who's just kind of just got admitted to a psych ward. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it's like, and I like it.
That's
it's
exactly
very
how to
funky.
put it.
It's chaotic, and it's fucking awesome. So
it's a great gimmick, in a strange way, but a very good gimmick nonetheless. I just love the fact that one haircut a year ago at WrestleMania just said, you know what? I'm going to do this more often. Oh, you know, I want a match? Let me cut his hair. That feels a little good. Let me cut his hair again. Oh, what? A year went by? I got to cut Jimmy Hart's hair. Like, he's obsessed with cutting hair. I don't understand it, but I also
he just slowly, gradually builds this, like, affinity to just cutting hair, and I fucking love that story.
He goes home and
funny.
just starts cutting his own hair. Like he gets like he gets like mannequin heads, puts wigs on them just to cut their hair because it just
It's like his
makes him
Joker
so
origin
happy.
story, dude.
We have to make the origin story of Brutus the Barber Beefcake. That's oh my god. I love how Honky Tonk gets nervous from Brutus doing his little snip stip, his little snippy motion. He's standing there like putting his arms out. It's hysterical. I also hate Honky Tonk. I cannot stand him whatsoever. But I will admit that he plays his role well as the heel in this match. Although I do not like him. Let's talk about the haircut though, because I love everything at the end of this match because it's gimmicked, but it's gimmicked in an extremely entertaining way. Like sometimes when it's like over the top, like there's so much happening, it's hard to follow. But for some reason, it just works excellent. Like Peggy Sue, throwing the water on Honky Tonk Man, and then Brutus cutting Jimmy Hart's hair. Like even the fact that there wasn't a clear winner, I still just love how it was executed. Every move made sense, and the heels were very strategic in their execution of this. And of course, Brutus gets the win, but he doesn't get the title, so it keeps the heels strong. But the babyface goes over in the end. So again, just the typical heel face divide here. I was a big fan of this match. Match early on, it was a little shaky, but the ending really sold me here. I gave it 2 idols once again.
Yeah, I gave it 1.5, dude. Nothing else needs to be said. But what does need to be said is Greg the Hammer Valentine versus Mark.
Yes. Now it is time to get into this match.
Yeah, there it is, baby. Woo! Oh man. This was okay.
This just adds to my hatred of Greg Valentine. This is you see, you almost got me. You almost got me. I almost fucking kicked him off the card. Greg Valentine, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, Greg Valentine.
Dude. This is go away heat for you, Greg Valentine. I don't know. This is not
Greg
this
Valentine
is just natural
has
heat.
Go away heat to the extreme.
Anthony naturally forgot about you. That he didn't even do that on purpose. That's just from the heart, baby. That's what. We're
calling this Greg Valentine heat from now on.
Yeah, Greg Valentine heat instead of go away heat. I read here, man. Valentine was on the offense for most of this match. Some really great heel offense. I thought taking dirty hits when there's a tiny opening was pretty good by Greg. On commentary, it was said Macho's wrestling on instinct, and immediately Savage is back on the offense, and the crowd's loving it. Jimmy Hart's doing some interferences as well. This is before getting his head little cut off a little bit there.
Yes.
But Valentine applies the figure 4 leg lock, but before he can fully lock it in, Macho rolls him up with a small package, gets the pinfall. I don't know why I should have given this like 1.5. I don't know why I gave this 2. But yeah, man, this was a match.
It certainly was a match. That's got to be a t-shirt. It certainly was a match. It was a match. It's on the front. It was a match. On the back, it certainly was a match. Dude, I don't want to harp on this too much because really my critiques for this match are the same thing as the last Greg Valentine match, but slowed it down. I prefer him in tag matches. I like that he focuses on the technical ability, but to a point it hurts the match. I just wanted to see some Savage offense here. And I get this pay-per-view is really just building up Savage, putting him against all these obstacles, but I don't know, this isn't really showcasing Savage in a great light here. If anything, this is just putting a big spotlight on Greg Valentine for no reason whatsoever. I would have plus this match should have been Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat, but can't do that match for some reason. So regardless, I gave this 1 idol. I really wasn't into this match whatsoever. But props to Savage. So far, he's had 2 meh matches in this tournament, but he has definitely been the spotlight, the MVP of these matches, if you will. So I gave the 1 idol for Savage himself. Yeah,
even dude, from this match alone, I was considering Macho Man for my Mr. Mania, and you'll see who I goddamn choose for that when we get to it. But Dude, let's get into this next bout, which is the Islanders and Heenan versus British Bulldogs and Coco Beware. But before we do that, there's actually a promo in the back with Bob Uecker and Andre the Giant.
Oh, there's a promo indeed. It is one of the most iconic. We have two really iconic promos on this WrestleMania. Even though it's not the greatest Mania of all time, we do have some pretty banger promos. The first one with Hogan with the backstrokes and, the floods opening up and Donald Trump swimming to, whatever.
Donald Trump's a Hulkamaniac, brother.
He's a Hulkamaniac. That was great. However, there's one that I think takes the cake on just excellent promos. And again, we got to show it to you because there's no way that we can explain it. Bob Uecker is in the back. He's talking with Andre the Giant. And we bring this to you by way of
Alfred Vision.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Well, there you have it. I still haven't found. Here's the next champion. Don't worry, I'm a fan of what. Now, Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania is over. Hey, how about getting your foot off my shoulder? Hey!
fucking love Alfred Vision. I love it.
I fucking can't do this, man. This is making me love Alfred even more. I didn't know it was possible, but Alfred, man, you've outdone yourself. You keep outdoing yourself. I did not expect to hear "Get your foot off my shoulder" in that high pitched voice. So Alfred, thank you. That's just what happens.
The best part of that promo is when Andre walks off, and you could see him visibly laughing. I feel like that's such a good little moment. Just he knows that it was so stupid. I love that promo.
Good. How about you get your foot off my shoulder as well?
How about you get your foot off my shoulder,
buddy? That's yeah. There you go. But dude, yeah. Let's get into this match. Let's stop hooting and hollering about. We can do that all we want. For right now, let's get into some serious business. This is my highest rated, I think, up until now match on this actual card. So it was, the Islanders and Heenan versus British Bulldog, Coco Beware. As I burp, it's nice. For me, there's a big pop for Matilda. Matilda comes out. You sniffing my burp?
I'm sniffing what the storm is cooking, if you will.
Hey, that's pretty good, but you're gonna have to charge $50 a burp. Sorry, man.
All right. Well, I'll PayPal you.
Starcast, baby. Yeah, thank you. Venmo, Cash App, whatever. Starcast, fucking $50 a burp. Boom. That's my boost right there.
You're the pre-show to me and Valentine going at it. Just you burping into the mic.
Yeah. Whenever, every 20 minutes. So it's not even
just a random burp comes in.
Yeah. But I wrote here, man, big pop for Frankie as well. Coco Beware's little birdie guy that he freaking brings is so cute.
Yeah.
Heenan has, and I noticed here, people with I think on Commentary, Gorilla Monsoon, Jesse were like, what is Heenan wearing? He's wearing one of those attack dog kind of sweaters, jumpers, you know what I mean? That if people, which I thought was pretty funny. There you go, boom, perfect photo of it. We'll get more into that in the later of the match, but a lot of things kind of happen in this. For one, the commentators not even knowing if the bell ever rang, and I went back and watched. The bell never rang for this match, so they were just.
So this match just never happened.
They were just backyard wrestling, baby. That's what it is. That's what they were doing.
Well, here, in honor of this match never getting the bell, I'll just there it is. There now the match has officially began. So now we can talk about it.
Gives me PTSD to the first Mania every goddamn time.
I'll never get over it.
But dude, this match is explosive. It's fast paced. It's fun. Heenan tags in while his opponents are down and takes complete advantage of that. Coco, though, outsmarts Heenan and now has the offense, and the crowd's loving it. Fuck this weasel up. It's amazing. The Islanders splash Heenan onto Coco, though, and score the pin. Some kerfufflery happened here. And I was going to originally give this a 2.5, but Matildo attacking Matildo? Oh my god, that's not the name.
Matildo. The male Matilda, if you will.
Yeah, there you go. Any Matildas and Matildos out there, if you're listening and if you're watching, give this a thumbs up. But I was gonna originally give this a 2.5 out of 5, but Matilda attacking bumped it up to a 3 for me. I thought it was really funny. Davey Boy just like kind of plopping Matilda on Heenan.
Yeah.
She has no clue where she is. You know what I mean? I thought that was so funny. I love dogs so much. So I gave this a 3 out of 5. Sorry. Let's hear you. You gave this a 3 out of 5 as well.
Dude, Matilda really brought this over the edge. Like, same as last year, where Matilda just gets in the ring and immediately goes for the manager. That is such a good
so
spot.
funny.
I love that so much.
Yeah,
man, this was my match of the night. Nothing comes close to it for me personally. Very fluent tag team movements. I mean, it's the British Bulldogs. You come to expect that. Like, you know, they're in our top 2 matches of Mania so far. So, of course, we're going to get some really good action with Davey Boy and Dynamite Kid. But, like, these 3 in particular, right? British Bulldogs and Coco Beware, they just work so well as a unit. Like, even Coco, like, last Mania, we were kind of talking about Coco in a negative light. Like, his match was kind of a nothing type of match. But this time around, maybe it's because he's part of a team, so the spotlight isn't like solely on him, but when he gets his shit in, like, it counts, like, it matters. He gets some really good drop kicks in. Overall, his offense is really nice. Love to watch it. I was just very surprised by this match because for a match with Bobby Heenan in it and, like, you know, the Islanders, we haven't really heard about them yet. It was a much better 6-man tag, and this might be a controversial statement. And I mean, not for us, but like a much better 6-man tag than the one at WrestleMania. And maybe like people will WrestleMania 3, that is last year's Mania. And maybe that may be controversial just because of the names that were in last year's. Bret Hart, you know, who was the other? Tito Santana was involved. So, you know, you could see it from either end, but this to me was high energy. It was fun, fast paced. You know, these 3 in particular worked really well together, and Bobby the Brain getting the win after the Islanders just throw him on top of, I believe it was Davey Boy. I could be wrong. Just a perfect ending to the match. So overall, I gave it 3 idols, and nothing came close. I don't think I even gave a 2.5 to anything. Nothing came close to this match.
Wow, yeah, dude. As I yawn, because I'm sleepy, like I say. Dude, an Australian icon, look, let me tell you the life of an icon real quick. I wake up in my mansion, 10 girls in this bed. I'm trying to remember all their names, right? And then it makes me tired and sleepy because I can't remember all their names. There we go. That's a bit for some reason. But dude, this match happened. It was great. I thought it was pretty good. Definitely better than the last 6-man. You know, you see the talent of the last 6-man from WrestleMania 3. You go, how can this be a bad match? It just kind of was. But this was good. And I think we should move on to the next match up here because we have a few to get through. Dude, this has been like its own little marathon, you know, with matches. It's kind of crazy, but we have semifinals, guys. Randy Savage versus One Man Gang. And I noticed here Macho Man's changing gears. Like he's changing his trunks out.
Such a good detail.
Yeah, dude. He had the pink, and then he had the orange, and then pink and orange. But yeah, I noticed that, which is really cool. One Man
different
Gang,
robes every time too.
Yeah, different robe. I didn't even pick up on the different robes. I might have.
Yeah, he started with blue, then he went to white. He changed it a lot. Like, and Elizabeth too. She was changing her dresses like with the robes. I thought such a cool little detail. And I mean, if you're gonna see Randy Savage wrestle 4 times, of course you're gonna see some you know, unique costumes. You know, I know Mattel and Jazzwares, you know, don't really mix. If we ever get a WWE, what are they called? The Supreme figures?
Supreme, yeah.
This is the one. Give me 2 tights of Savage and give me 4 different robes. If I ever get a WrestleMania 4 Randy Savage, that is the one. Jazzwares, Mattel, collaborate on this shit because it needs to happen.
You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
But yeah, man, dude. One Man Gang's on the offense for most of this. Macho finds an opening and goes for it. Slickster, which is One Man Gang's manager, throws the cane to One Man Gang, hits Macho Man once, and then continues to miss him 5 different times. And then the ref notices it. He's like, oh, he's hitting him 5 different times. And he calls it. And by way of DQ, Macho Man wins. Weird. It was
It was I need to, like, before we move on, I need to give you props because you do a phenomenal job on making these matches sound better than they actually are. Because this match sucked. But you painted out to be like it was a fantastic match. So I need to commend you on that. But yes, this match was awful. It was not good. I understand what the purpose of it was. It was, to attack Savage with a weapon so that he's a little, beaten up going into the main event. I get that, but it doesn't really work if you only hit the guy with a cane once and then you miss like 4 times after that. If we got a little bit more offense on, a weapon attack or something, could have worked a little better, but does not work at all here. My notes read, One Man Gang is on my cut list. Dud. That is I gave it half a star because Savage, like, I understood the story, so I gave it a half a star there, but it's a very weak half a star. One Man Gang, not really feeling it.
It was a quick match, man.
Very quick match, yeah.
One man gang, one man icon, as you can see. So, he's just racking up those ones. All I can say.
Yes.
At least there's that. But I'm trying to write these matches just like how I see them, right? And sometimes I'm just in a silly, goofy mood, and I'm enjoying everything I'm seeing. I'm very influential, easily influenced like that. So if you show me something like Coco Melon and you tell me this is for adults and it's actually like a dark humor, I will believe you and I'll enjoy it for some reason.
Dude, what are those videos of, like, I forget what they're called, but they're like the fruits and the vegetables with like the faces and they like sway a little bit, like the sensory videos or something like that. Those get me.
Yeah.
Those catch my attention. I would rather be watching 3.5 hours of fruit and vegetable dancing videos than watch 3.5 hours of WrestleMania 4. Should we go on to the next match?
I would love to. Let's do it. So we had Demolition, dude. First time I've seen Demolition. I'm so here for it, man. I just love their presence. I love their gear. I love everything about them. Super, super cool. Love face paint. So I was really excited for this. And they were versing the tag team champions, Strike Force. So that made up of Tito Santana and Rick Martel.
We've seen both of them in different tag teams, but now this is the first time that we've seen them together, which is cool.
Yeah, great point as well. Yeah, first time we've seen them together. There's some great like tag wrestling happening. There, Demolition's cutting the ring in half, which I know you made light of a few minutes ago, with some proper nice wrestling in this, which I thought was cool. I just think I really like tag teams. Like I don't know what I think. Maybe this series maybe really like tag teams. Tito scores a flying forearm, gets the hot tag onto Martel. And Martel gets whacked with Fuji's cane. Ref counts to 3. We have new tag team champs in Demolition. So, what do you think of this?
Yeah, no, I thought the match was great. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot. Listen, I didn't watch this match whatsoever because it was match 15 by this point, and I was not paying attention to anything. Not care.
I just want to make. I want to make so. I watched this in 2 sittings. Anthony watched this the entire way through the 3.5 hours. I watched this. I broke it up at half and half so I could watch it day and day. But oh man, I can't. I didn't. We were even talking about this. I think they used like WrestleMania 4, watching it in full, as a torture method in World War II Germany. So I just want to say that there.
Yeah, you make a good point. I completely forgot to mention that, but I think this adds to kind of our different outlooks on the shows, which gives different perspectives, which I really like. Like, we've already said countless times, like, you focus more on the overall story of the match and everything that, not just the wrestling. And I go for more of like, the work rate and, if the story in ring is there. There's also the fact that I watched the whole thing all together. So it gives that kind of like, if you were watching it in 1988 perspective, while you have a more fresh eyes on watching the show. Both definitely, true ways to watch the shows. So I like the fact that it gives us different perspectives, although sometimes it just leaves me with absolutely nothing to say. like this match. I hear it was a pretty good match from what you're telling me. However, what I will say, and I mentioned this last week, and I want to mention it here, especially because the tag team division is growing. Like, we've seen it especially in the last 3 Manias, but now with Demolition and Strikeforce and all these teams, like the tag team division in WWE around this time is very, very strong. I don't think any tag team division I don't want to say that because we haven't really experienced a lot of them yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if throughout the entirety of our Mania experience, if the 80s is the best time period for tag team wrestling in the WWE, because
all I will say is I prefer British Bulldogs over Jericho, but
that's absolutely 100% for sure. Actually, first wrestling match I ever watched was Jericho versus DX versus Undertaker and John Cena. So there's a special place in my heart for Jericho, but that doesn't mean that they're a good tag team. I do love John Cena and Undertaker tag teaming, though. That was a trip. Anyways, didn't watch this match, but I heard it was good. Strikeforce, Tito Santana's dope, so I'm sure it was a good match. But Demolition, right on.
Right on. That's all we can say. Let's move on to the main course, baby. Let's do it.
Main course. Let's get into our main event. Finally, it is the finals in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament, and we have gotten down to the final 2.
The $1 Million Man versus Macho Man Randy Savage.
Here we go, baby. And we crack it open just like young Anthony cracked his neck open just then.
Oh, did you hear that on the mic?
With, I did not, but I saw it. I had the visual of it. Wait, I want to... Oh,
I definitely heard that.
Oh, did you hear that?
I definitely heard that. I already cracked my neck. You can't hear mine, unfortunately.
Oh, mine just fucking hurts now. Anyway, let's get into this match. So we have Ted DiBiase versus Macho Man. This has all been culminating to this match. This whole night has been culminating to this match. Whether you liked the Strikeforce Demolition match or not, no, you didn't. Stop playing. Ted DiBiase and Randy Savage, this is what we're here for. I wrote here, Bob Uecker has go away heat, just Greg Valentine heat, basically.
Greg Valentine heat, it's a thing, man.
Yeah, it's like canon now. $1 Million Man enters with Andre in his corner. This is what the 3 hours have been building towards. I'm excited for this. Andre's trying to sweep the leg on the outside. And I noticed this. There's already been 3 matches for Macho Man tonight. And this is his 4th going into this, which is insane. He's kind of an Iron Man when you think about it. But people have been chanting Hogan this entire match. Macho Man whispers something in Miss Elizabeth's ear. Elizabeth goes up the entrance ramp and then comes back, and Hogan's here. He's coming back with Hogan. We're seeing the first early goings of the Mega Powers here, which is very nice. Big pop for me, because I'm a Hulkster. I'm a little Hulk, so what can I say? But yeah, Hulk gets a chair, and he just takes a seat on the outside just to make sure everything's in order. Andre tries to get a sweep on Macho again, but Hogan starts going after Andre. The crowd's loving it. DiBiase has a sleeper on Macho Man, but Hogan hits DiBiase with a chair, and the ref didn't see it, which I thought was really funny, because DiBiase actually hit Hogan with the chair, which I just fucking put 2 and 2 together in the Andre and Hogan match. Boom. And so Hogan kind of retaliating, hitting Ted DiBiase with the chair, and the ref didn't see it. Macho Man comes to and immediately goes to the top rope, hits the elbow drop, gets the pin, wins the tournament, wins the title, and this was WrestleMania 4. I gave it 3 out of 5. You gave it 2 out of 5. What do you think of this?
All right. I mean, I should have liked this match a lot more than I did, and I did not for reasons outside of the match itself. Well, let me first start off by saying this match really was not focused in on Savage and DiBiase whatsoever. Like, this was more of Hogan and Andre and Elizabeth, everything outside of the stuff in the ring. And what really annoys me about it is, like, this whole tournament is supposed to be the crowning moment for Savage. Like, this is, the Macho Man becomes world champion. It's a huge thing. But, like, this was the perfect matchup. Savage, DiBiase, like, DiBiase's the classic heel. He's selling very well throughout the night. He gets the cheap wins with Andre, and now here's Savage. He's, getting these matches. He's kind of the underdog in a lot of these matches, but overall, he's very explosive, very fiery, high action, high flying shit. So this was the match that everyone wanted to see. But like Hogan comes in, and I understand the story, and you just mentioned it now, like, the chair shots and callbacks to the last match. I understand it, but Hogan just completely overshadows this. Like, if Hogan didn't get so involved in actually attacking DiBiase and instead just gets Andre out of the picture, I would have been fine with it. If I also got another 5 minutes of this match that was just DiBiase and Savage, I also would have been fine with the match. It was really overshadowed by the outside interference. It was way too short for a Mania main event. This was under 10 minutes. I think it was 9:50 something.
Look, I was just happy to get the fuck out of here, out of this Mania. So
honestly,
if it was short, thank God.
Yeah, 100%. I gave it 2 idols. It was a nice little crowning moment. Of course, we get the iconic moment with Savage holding Elizabeth on his shoulders. It was a cool moment, but you could have done so much more to actually crown Savage as your new world champion. And we're going to see going into Mania 5 that, Savage is really attached with Hogan at the hip, and it kind of hurts him a little bit, but we'll get into that next episode as we are finally fucking done with this Mania. Nick, is this the worst Mania that we've seen so far?
This is the worst Mania we've seen. WrestleMania 2 doesn't come close to this. WrestleMania 2 was at least enjoyable and had my still most highest rated match and still a great main event. This was just a huge tournament. I did not enjoy this, man. This was I was itching for this to be over when it was 20 minutes in. I felt like it was an hour in. You know what I mean?
Same.
So it was tough, but guess what? That's because it was held in the Trump Plaza. And I'm speaking facts, point. And I dropped the mic.
Drop the mic. But Nick, we have a few more segments we got to get into before we close up the show. Do you want to introduce us to our next segment?
Let's do it, baby. Let's get into Mr. Goddamn Mania. Now, for those people who don't know Mr. Mania or what this segment is, it's basically essentially who is the top dog, I love using that phrase, of this Mania. Who do we think got the crowning moment? Who do we think really shined in this Mania? Anthony, what do you want to do? Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? What do you want to do here?
You could go ahead first on this one. You introduced it. You go first.
Oh, okay, beautiful. Well, I'll have to go with Macho Man Randy Savage. So I thought this whole Mania was just kind of revolving around Macho Man, and we definitely saw that in the tournaments, especially him coming out the victor here and there, and then the grand achievement of him winning the WWF title in the main event. I thought this was a crowning moment for Macho Man. It very, very much was very essential for his character, I felt like, at least from a fan's perspective. But yeah, that was my Mr. Mania. Anthony, let's get into yours, man.
Dude, it really came down to Savage as Mr. Mania. I was thinking about it. Of course, he went through the 4 matches. They built him up so well. But then I started thinking about it, and I looked at my ratings, and I said, most of these Savage matches are 1 idol, 1.5. And the main event really didn't give him a great shine with the overshadowing of Hogan and Andre. So I had to give my Mr. Mania to Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it really came down to those two guys. If you considered anyone else, you're insane. I guess you can make the case for Hogan, but I won't be making that case. DiBiase pulls out 2 really underrated matches on this card, just based on his selling and his ability to slow down the match with Jim Duggan, Don Morocco, and he also plays a vital role in the Hogan and Andre match. So that's all of those taken into consideration. Plus, fucking drip god right here.
Oh, look at him.
The excellent suits that he pulls out on the night. How could you not give it to Mr. $1 Million Man himself. But of course, I could see the case for Randy Savage. I mean, I feel like that's the odds-on favorite to get it, but I wanted to make it a little different. Our last 2 weeks, we both agreed on Hogan, so gotta spice it up every now and then.
I like it too, man. Because we were both kind of we both went with the people who were in the main event, like both opposing sides. So I see it from both ends. You can't have a great babyface without a great heel to play off of that. So I definitely see Ted DiBiase for sure. But we have one more segment before we get the hell out of here.
We've got one more segment, and it's for all the marbles. Alrighty, folks, we have all the marbles. This is our top 10 running list of our favorite or our best, whatever we're going to call it, our top 10 Mania matches. We update our list every week, and we've got some updates this week for you. On my side of things, I'll kick things off. Not a ton of updates, I'm going to be honest with you. My top 3 are still the same. Savage Steamboat, Dream Team versus British Bulldogs, Adrian Adonis and Roddy Piper. The only real change is Brutus Beefcake versus David Sammartino has been kicked out of the top 10. They were originally in the 10th spot. They are now shifted out of existence. And that is to make room for number 4, and that is the 6-man tag team match of British Bulldogs, Coco Beware versus the Islanders and Bobby Heenan. Such a fun match. Loved it so much. I put this above the main event of Mania 1, again, over, Ricky Steamboat and Hercules. So it really goes to show you how much I really enjoyed this match. Fun tag team chemistry on display, and Bobby Heenan plays his role very well as the Weasel heel. So that's the only change that I really made to my list. But you actually made a few changes to your list if you want to get into this.
I did. I made a lot of changes. So in my top 10, I actually removed some matches and I replaced some in there. So starting at number 10, we have the Islanders and Bobby Heenan versus British Bulldogs, Coco Beware. Super fun stuff. Number 9, the first match on Mania history, Tito Santana Executioner. I feel like that is a special place just because of the historical landmark of it. Number 8, George Wells versus Jake the Snake Roberts. First time we saw Jake the Snake. Very fun time. Number 7, Can-Am Connection versus Don Morocco and Bob Orton. I just really loved the fast pace of this match. Number 6 was Macho Man Ted DiBiase from this Mania. I just loved how chaotic it was and how, a lot of different wrestlers were incorporated in it. Just as much as they were overshadowed, it still kind of brought a lot of fun to it. Number 5, King Kong Bundy versus Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania 2, the main event. Number 4, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant from WrestleMania 3, the main event for that. Very fun stuff. Number 3, Funk Brothers versus Tito Santana and JYD. Still one of my favorite matches, I think, here. Just a really great match. Number 2, Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man. And then number 1, Dream Team and British Bulldogs. So not much change in the kind of top 3 portion, but everything following that, I mixed it around. I kind of, flunked my thing around. I like changing the list around here and there for what I'm feeling at the time. It's great.
Yeah, man. Overall, I would say this has been a very interesting WrestleMania, to say the least. But, folks, we are finally friggin' done with this show. Mania 5. But until then, there's only one thing left to say. You can support The Turnbuckle Tavern by going on theturnbuckletavern.com. Listen to our podcast. See our beautiful faces on YouTube and Twitch. Follow all our social medias. You see them there. Buy our merch. Let's plug some Shot of Nostalgia merch while we have it. Of course, Shot of Nostalgia, ProWrestlingTees.com/tavern. We're also on Teespring to get some other shirts that you can't necessarily get on Pro Wrestling Tees. Yeah, man, this was I say the word fun very loosely, but this was definitely a fun Mania to look back with the Australian icon himself. Folks, we're going to be back next week with WrestleMania 5. The main event is Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage. The Mega Powers explode. It's going to be a fun time overall. But that is it for us here at Before Our Time. We will see you next week. But until then...
Salutation.